One city in focus. Metropolitans.
The city of Łódź in the middle of Poland, or Łódź as the locals call it, is something of a paradox. Unlike other great cities, it didn't spring up around a major river. And yet it's because of water that it developed and grew to be the metropolis of 750,000 people that it is today. And for a place without a major water supply, it might seem bizarre that its symbol is a boat. There is water, but on the city centre streets, the name of its river remains a mystery. This inhabitant didn't know it.
Nie zastanawiałem się na tym.
These had never asked the question, even though they live there.
Warta?
Warta is the wrong answer. He had no idea. Neither did he. And he asked to phone a friend. The town's mayor, though, knew.
The city of Łódź began here and developed rapidly thanks to the number of rivers that crisscross it. In fact, Łódź sits on 18 rivers.
If indeed they can be called rivers. This is the biggest, maybe 10 metres across at its widest. The others are more like streams, like the Sokolówka. And with water so scarce, they have to keep it clean.
This is like the water that goes into the system. That's the problem we have to solve.
This system is cheaper and more efficient than an industrial plant.
Most of the pollution falls as sediment in this pool. The process is reinforced by these strips. Yes, it's a vital stage, mainly thanks to these cloth filters. They catch virtually all pollutants, and afterwards they're used to fertilize lawns.
A potem jest wykorzystywana do regeneracji trawnika.
The water, almost as clean as a mountain spring, according to the professor, feeds into a lake in a nearby park. Without a major river, Łódź grew up around its main thoroughfare. 4 kilometres long, Piotrkowska Street is as straight as a die.
In the 19th century, as the town got richer, it was everyone's proud dream to have a house on Piotrkowska Street, like Julius Heinzel's house behind me, which is now the town hall. The interior has hardly changed. The Rubinstein Alley is my favourite part. The great pianist was born there at number 67. Today there's a sculpture of Arthur Rubinstein sitting at a grand piano.
They might not have had much water in Łódź, but what they had was exceptionally clean, perfect for making textiles. From 1820 onwards, the red brick mills shot up and the population exploded.
The city of Łódź came about thanks to big money. It developed in the 19th century, and at the time it was one of the 3 fastest growing cities in the world. In less than 100 years, it transformed from a small town of 1,500 into a city of more than 600,000 people. We want to find our roots, and we think that saving this beautiful post-industrial infrastructure is a real chance for the city.
Manufaktura is one of the biggest shopping and leisure centres in Europe. It was created from an old factory with private investment. The Łódź City Arts Centre is partly completed. Work on the rest of the centre is still underway.
This is an old factory built in the 19th century by the industrialist Karol Scheibler. It's been transformed into an arts centre, and here we can host lots of artists, festivals and events. Most of all, when the work is finished in 2 years, this area will grow to 10,000 square metres and will house a new centre of creative industry called Art Incubator.
Nowe Centrum Przemysłów Kreatywnych, projekt pod nazwą Art Incubator.
They're renovating an old power station that supplied Łódź with electricity until the beginning of the 21st century. It's one of the biggest industrial conversions in the world. The aim is to create a new city centre.
This is the old generator hall. Part of it dates back to 1907. After the works are finished, there'll be a centre of cinema art here. At its heart, there'll be mainly what you'd call a theatre of sound. There'll be a recording studio big enough for a large symphony orchestra and a choir. The old machine room will house an art gallery and conference rooms. There'll also be a planetarium and a 3D cinema. And there's a part they call the new generator, built in 1930. There'll be a research and technical centre. The installations are intended mainly to explain energy production.
Łódź is always looking for water, to live and for leisure, like the Fala Aqua Park, but also to open itself up to the wider world.
It's clear that the city can't function well without its surrounding region. The water treatment plant, for example, was built by Łódź and its neighbouring communities.
This giant plant, started in 1974, was one way of dealing with the nastier consequences of the textile industry.
Life has come back to the River Ner. Before, it used to change colour according to what the factories were making. Now it is clean again.
And another example of keeping in contact with the outside world is the intersection near the city where the north-south and east-west A1 and A2 motorways meet as they cross Europe. The intersection was the driving force behind an enterprise zone for businesses that want to set up in the region. Authorities have introduced tax incentives too to entice companies to come. And the search for water goes on, this time in Podębice, where they're looking for sources of natural hot water. This well reaches down more than 2 kilometres to supply the local hospital. And another geothermal source is being lined up to bring more benefits to the region.
The towns around and about have things to offer the people of Łódź. One, for example, has one of the only thermal spas in Poland, and many inhabitants of Łódź spend their leisure time there.